Hello, hello, peace. Shout out to everybody in the building. Peace, peace, peace. We about to get started right away because I gotta go pick up. I'm not picking them up. I gotta get my kids. So yeah, so we gotta get started. So shout out to everybody in the building. We're not gonna be long, but I'm just gonna cover some of the things I wanted to cover yesterday that I kind of missed. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to WT. Shout out to the visionary. You already know, red, black, and green, BYB. That's how we do. Thank you for the fire emojis. Shout out to Fahima. Salute to Jamal. Shout out. Salute to Dread Nasty. Thank you for the fire emojis. Family, remember the best way to support the stream is PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, but all support is good support. Whether it's gifts, whether it's a super thanks, a super chat, a super sticker, much appreciated. I take it all. Hitting that join button, gifting somebody a join button. Gifting somebody a membership. All the support is good support. I take it all. And if you ain't got nothing to support monetarily, support with a comment, support with a like, support with a share, support by hitting that reaction heart. Shout out to Lee D. Clinton in the building. Also, family, make sure you subscribe to my other channels. Subscribe to my other channels. Subscribe to my other channels. Much appreciated. But yeah, let's get started. Especially because Fahima is in the building. Shout out to you, Fahima. You sent me this, so I'm about to look at this right now. Shout out to you. Let me see. Let me see if I can find that video. Let me see if I can find that. There it is. Shout out to you, Fahima. Here it is. Let's get right to it. This is, as far as I know, Tariq the Bozo trying to claim to be Aboriginal, like having a debate with some white guy about whether black people are Aboriginal or not. Some nonsense. We're going to get into it. Yes, make sure y'all smash that like button. So let's go.
Let's get Queen Shah. I think that's your name. Queen Shah. Hop on in, Queen Shah. Queen Shah. Unmute your microphone if you can.
Are you going to mute me?
I hear you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Are you going to mute me when I talk?
No, if you're going to troll, you're not going to troll. This ain't the troll.
I'm not trolling.
You're not going to troll. You're the big forehead Eritrean or Ethiopian. Where are you from again?
Look at you. I don't give a where I'm from.
I know you don't. You're a fleeing tether.
Matter.
You're a fleeing tether. I know you don't. That's why you're over here with us.
See what I'm saying? You're never gonna let me talk.
But you're not gonna come up here and just say stuff in tether babble.
No, I'm gonna say what you have to say. Like you babbling.
Watch your mouth, you little musty thing.
See, I didn't even say anything.
But you're using profanities. Be a lady, all right? I know you have to use that mouth for dirty things at the immigration office, but act like you're not at the immigration office.
Look at you. How dare you say
putting
that?
Balls in your jaws. Calm down, ma'am. Everything ain't got to be all slutty and perverted. Calm down. Now go ahead, say something without being perverse. Be a lady. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
What's on your mind besides that big forehead?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, exactly. Like, come on now. I'm about to speed this up. I'm about to try to skip past this altogether. Like, this is what Tariq does. Again, you argue with the same people over and over and over again. Like, FBA, this ain't repetitive to y'all. This makes sense to y'all. And yeah, and all he does is, you're right, Fahim, man. All he does is insult people for no reason. Why did he have to insult the sister? She calling in. You know who she is. What's the reason for the insults? She just called in and she asked, can she talk? And you was coming and you disrespecting her already out the gate. Speaking of out the gate, shout out to the visionary for coming through with the $199 for setting it off for tonight. Yes, of course he was clowning a pretendian a month ago. That's what Tariq does. He goes from clowning the pretendians to being a pretendian. Chicken butt mouth. You never know what Tariq gonna say. 1 minute he a pretendian, next minute he not a pretendian. I mean, 1 minute he's pushing the pretendian ideology, next minute he's refuting the pretendian ideology. You can't make this up.
God.
Man,
I have a lot of hair than you. You know that, right?
because you got a lot of head, of course. You got more head.
I got a lot of
You
hair,
got
not a lot of
you got
hair.
a lot of head, ma'am. Your forehead,
Hair,
ma'am,
you piece of shit.
ma'am, your forehead looks like a Kia. All right. But go ahead. What's on your mind?
Why do you hate Africans?
Ma'am, you don't have anything to hate, beloved.
Why do you hate
Nobody
Africans?
hates Africa more than you fleeing tethers, beloved.
No, you
Nobody
do.
hates
Like,
your homeland more
that's
than
all you
you.
talk about
That's
it.
all you flee from, your homeland of Africa. Nobody hates Africa more than you. That's why you're over here with us, ma'am.
I love
No, you
Africans.
don't.
What the fuck are
No,
you
you
talking
don't. You are
about?
never going back. You're over here with us. You and that big
I've
forehead.
been back to like
No,
so many
you
fucking
haven't. No, you
times. Like,
haven't. No, you
you
haven't.
go to
No, you
Africa, like,
haven't.
and then, like, I wish you fucking never
Ma'am,
go to
you not
Africa.
in
How about
Africa.
that?
You're never going back.
I like I've been to Africa like at least like 5 times.
Ma'am, no, you haven't.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Staying over here with us. You hit the
But
lottery over here with us.
let's go back to the birthright. How do you feel about that?
You're welcome. It was my people that put that together. So you're welcome. If it
But
it's my people that put that together. You came over here on the
but
back.
he literally didn't want you here.
Who?
Do you know
Who
that?
didn't want us
The
here?
birthright, he literally want to get rid of you.
Who is he?
It's not just us.
Who is he?
Not
He who? Who is he?
Trump.
Trump can't get rid of us.
Trump
No,
wants
no, he didn't. What you talking about? And nobody can get rid of us. This is
Oh, dag, the sound came off. Thank you, Visionary, for putting for letting me know the sound came off. But I was saying is not true. Trump does want to get rid of black people. He making it clear that he made it clear that he want to get rid of black people. The same way he wanted to get rid of Latinos, talking about rapists and stuff like that coming across the border. He was talking about Latinos in general. Now, when he was talking about, oh, we need to start deporting people with citizenship who are criminals, doing a knockout game and all that other stuff. He was talking about black people. He definitely wants to get rid of black people. And so does his administration. It's a reason why they're going to target the 14th Amendment the way they do. Shout out to Barker for sending me jewels. I just seen it. Shout out to you, Barker95. I can't say your first name. I don't know how to say it, and I really can't see it too good. But I can see the Barker. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Oh, there you are. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the jewels. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. But yeah, let's get back to this. My fault. My fault. The sound cut out. I wasn't looking.
our homeland, ma'am. Nobody can get rid of us. We're not you. We're not refugees that can be kicked out.
How about you stop muting
How
me?
about you just stop babbling, beloved?
No, how about you stop muting me and then face the fact that he was trying to get rid of you.
How?
He didn't want no black people.
Ma'am,
Like,
you just babbling and stop. I done told you about using potty mouth words and you just keep cursing.
Trump doesn't want any black people. He doesn't. Like, I don't get it. Hopefully, like, the main story starts after this, but it's like, yeah, Tariq, you're definitely deflecting. You definitely keep muting the sister. You're a bozo. Like, this is cornball stuff. Exactly, Visionary. This is bag babble. This is bag babble. He's just doing this to entertain his followers so they can send him a bag, and then he can go blow it at a casino with the Siberians. That's all he's doing. That's all. That's all. Oh, shout out to Justin March, my first moderator, for coming through with the 20 gifts for the memberships. Family, if Justin March gifted you a membership, make sure you thank him and make sure you keep it going. Make sure you thank him and make sure you keep it going. Much appreciated, bro. Thank you for all your support. All your support. Much appreciated. But let's get back to this bozo. See what he got. See if he gonna keep babbling or not.
I'm not.
You are cursing. You Tweety,
I'm not.
ma'am, you in that Tweety Bird head can think of more words than just F words over and over. You can't think of any more words with all that head? Good Lord, are you deficient on
Oh my
vitamin? You
gosh.
need some
I'm
vitamin D.
not.
Ma'am, you need to chill out.
I'm not. He was literally going for
Okay,
the birthright,
Abasola,
which
you
like
get your musty titty big forehead ass out of here, ma'am. You're not just going to do that. All right.
Exactly, Fahima. Exactly. Trump did say that. That's what I was referencing. He said that off the record and on the record. And he said it multiple times. He was talking about black people. But Tariq and them act like they didn't hear that. They act like they didn't hear that. Oh, shout out to Tina. She sent some jewels. Shout out to you, Tina. Much appreciated. Thank you. I just saw it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Make sure you drop a comment so I can make sure I celebrate you properly.
I done told you over and over, you're not going to be disrespectful. All right. Let me get Dr. Davinsky. You're just not going to be a potty mouth. Y'all know your vocabulary is limited and you don't get enough vitamins from that bushmeat. But damn it, you're going to have to get some act right. Dr. Davinsky, what's up, Dr. Davinsky?
Salam alaikum, brother Tariq. I saw the most famous tether in America last night, Akon. Randomly bumped into him in a bar.
Wait, time out. Is this the Irish guy he was talking about? And why is he laughing? This white guy just called, obviously trying to be funny, talking about Assalamu alaikum Tariq. And he's talking about, I saw the most famous tether, Akon, last night. And Tariq is sitting here laughing, giggling like a little hoe. This is what I'm talking about. Why you ain't have this energy with this white man coming? He called in being disrespectful. Trying to make fun and poke at you. Because your name is Tariq. That's why he hit you with the Assalamu alaikum, but you sitting here laughing like a little hoe, giggling.
And yeah, it was kind of crazy. But then I was walking on the Beltline today in Atlanta and I saw a lot of ass graffiti and stuff. So what's going on with that? Another thing that I've noticed since I've been in America, I thought this was an online thing. The whole like we was Native Americans.
Okay.
And it's this. I'd say honestly, there's about 30 to 40% of Black Americans, like FBAs, that think that when Columbus arrived in the continental United States, there were people like you and Will Smith running around going, "Well,
look at this guy being so disrespectful." And exactly, shout out to President Jafar in the building. Exactly, this white man using a racial slur right now, and Tariq sitting here giggling. Tether is a slur, by the way. For all you who don't know, tether is a slur, and he's sitting here giggling with this white man. Now the white man going to attack the Aboriginal stuff. Now you're going to want to say something. Use a bozo. Use a bozo.
with bows and arrows." Can you clear up for your followers that you guys aren't indigenous? Like there was no like FBA looking people until after colonization.
That's a damn lie. According to every explorer that came here, they saw black people here. According to archaeology, there's black people here. Some of the black Aboriginals were here before the Siberian ones, sir. That's proven.
Look, see, again, now he calling them Siberians. You wasn't calling them Siberians when you was at the casino gambling all your money away, and then you had to jump online sounding coked up to try to get some more donations so you could get back to gambling when you was in Oklahoma. Cut that out. You was at they casinos gambling up a storm. Berkeley, I don't think this was paid. This is just what Tariq attracts. This is just what Tariq attracts. He's a bozo. And no, there wasn't a bunch of Aboriginal people. And no, to the white guy, 30 to 40% of black people don't believe that they Aboriginal and they didn't come and they got no connection to Africa. That's a lie. Even when people used to say, I got Indian in my family, it was, I got Indian in my family. It wasn't, I am an Indian. It wasn't, oh, I don't have any family from Africa. My ancestors didn't come from Africa. I'm not an African, or I'm not connected to Africa. Like he just said that. That's a lie. Total bozo. Shout out to the visionary for the double up with the 199. Exactly, they did. Like, come on now. Tariq talking about, oh, every explorer said that. What explorer said that? What explorer said that? Though, Jimmy, when he say Siberians, that's their basically their I don't know how to proper way to phrase this. That's basically what they call actual Native Americans. Remember, they was saying that they was the same as the actual Native Americans. Then they claimed that they was all $5 Indians, really white people pretending to be Native Americans. Now they saying that the Native Americans are actually Siberians. Mind you, what evidence do you have that they Siberians? And tell me the source that you got that from, and now go to look at that source and let me see that source say that there was also Black Aboriginal people here. It was two groups here when the Europeans came. Black Aboriginals and Siberians. Show me the source that says that.
It's just not true, though. It's not true.
Lucia woman.
So how come when you do an ancestry DNA test, take the average FBA, where do they cluster? Do they cluster with Amerindians from Central and South America, or do they cluster with West Africans?
They don't have the markers correct. Some of the Native American, quote unquote, Native American tribes, they've been remixed so much, you're not going to have genetic markers for them. You're not going to have a genetic marker for Seminoles, for example.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Tariq is a liar. See, he's trying to be disingenuous right now. You're being highly disingenuous right now. Because, again, some of the Black people were called Seminoles, but they didn't have the Seminole DNA. Just like, again, you notice how there's no actual Black people who are actually connected to Native Americans who talk like this? None of them. None of them. No actual Black people who are connected to Native Americans actually talk like this. Talking about all of now, and also you just heard Tariq. They went from saying DNA is fake. Now he's saying, well, the groups were so mixed up that the markers that you can't tell who is who based on the markers. Wait, I think we got a troll in the building. You're a liar. I bet if a woman said that you the father of her kid and you didn't have sex with her, you would be crying and begging for a DNA test. These people are so stupid. And you know what's so funny? The people who talk like that, now you creaking Gullah Geechee. The Gullah Geechee are Black. I'm basically booming you right now. I'm just gonna I timed you out, but yeah, come back with something more intelligent. Shout out to the visionary. Yes, he stole that from Dan Calloway. And yes, Dan Calloway stole a lot of his stuff from the Moors, but they really got it from the Russians. Remember, that whole Aboriginal stuff was literally started by the Russians. It was a bastardization because the Russians was trying to target Black people. So they used everything that they ever heard a Black person say, and they put out propaganda and created little groups and Facebook and stuff around it. The Aboriginal thing was one of them, because you know Black people, like I said, say we got Indian in our family. So they took that as Black people saying that they are Indians. That's how it started. This stuff started in 2015. I challenge any of these bozos who claiming to be Aboriginal to show me proof that they was claiming to be Aboriginal. No connection to Africa. They came from here. They got no African ancestry before 2015. I challenge them. I'm gonna give myself some leeway. 2010. The internet existed in 2010. Everybody got a social media footprint from 2010. I challenge them. I'm putting out that open challenge. I'm challenging them. Exactly, WT. Very respectful to a racist. Very respectful. This guy didn't just call saying that Black people are not Aboriginal. He was being very racist and disrespectful and using a racial slur. You think he don't know tether is a racial slur? You don't think he know that tether is a slur? He know exactly what tether mean. That's why he said, "Oh, I just saw the biggest tether, the most famous tether last night, Akon." Exactly. You know, that's another thing too that these bozos are trying to claim, right? Is that that the Gullah Geechee are actually Aboriginal. That's why you got a lot of bozos just claiming to be Aboriginal right now. I know you're not doing this around the world. The black you trying to be funny about who's the original people of the earth. The black people are not everywhere, bro. Black people could have been everywhere at one point, but they wasn't everywhere like that. Again, first of all, the Aboriginal ideology teaches that Aboriginal people originated in North America. They didn't come from no Africa. They don't believe in the out of Africa theory. So even if you want to even try to play that stunt, like, well, of course there had to be some black people here. We the original people of the earth. We all came out of Africa. They don't believe that. Try again. Try again. Yes, Fahima, this Babel is barely a decade old. That's why I said you can. I challenge anybody because I was tracking this before the FBA stuff. It was this stuff, and I tracked it completely. Even most of the original Aboriginal memes was created by Russians. They was created by Russians. Like, you can't make this up. It was created by Russians. Let's get back to this though.
This is just cope.
That's not
Like
no. You're trying
Oh my God, I didn't even watch this video and I said that same thing. You just heard me say it earlier, talking about how this is just cope. How they just coping hard. Like, because again, when that's what I meant when I said the white man broke these dudes' brains. The white man has demonized Africa so much to these bozos that they ready to be anything but African. That's why the same bozos who will argue down that they're not African will then turn around and be like, the original samurai was black, the original Vikings was black, the original Hindus was black, the original Romans was black, the original Greeks was black, the original Chinese was black, the original Aztecs was black. Everything was black. Everything was black. Everything was black. Yes, the Russians created all those memes. And the reason why Dan Calloway blew up so much is because he started putting his watermark on the memes. And when the Russians is pushing the memes, he's being shared too. This is a fact. This is a fact. This is a immutable fact. Oh, black people was on the earth 76 trillion years. That's how long they was on the earth. Next question.
do I'm right and I say so, sir. They've gotten the DNA, they've reconstructed.
Look, you just heard Tariq, he almost slipped. He almost said they got, because he's so busy babbling, he almost said they got the DNA, even though he just argued earlier that the DNA, they can't get the DNA markers correct because everybody's all mixed in. Like, you can't make this up. Again, I'm gonna explain this to you one last time around the world. Black people venturing out of Africa spread around the world, right? But most of those black populations disappeared and turned into other groups. You do know that, right? That doesn't mean that when people started sailing around the world, they were still finding black people. Them groups is gone. They gone. Where's the black population that you could find right now in Europe that been there since your humans left out of Africa? Where is it? Where's the black population in China? Now it's your turn. Explain that. Explain that. But yeah, let's keep it going.
Ancient bones, sir. They were black people. I'm white and I say so ain't gonna stop that, sir.
There's no.
And again, this is the babble that Tariq is doing. The reason why people don't believe the actual ancient Egyptians were the Kemetics were actually black. This is why, because this type of babble, this type of talk, is the reason why people don't believe that, because we know that whole the ancient Egyptians wasn't black. was started by white supremacists. A white supremacist who never even been to Egypt. Dr. York didn't make that up. And again, the $76 trillion, I said $76 trillion. 76 trillion years ago number that came from the Nation of Islam. I was gonna even play games where I was gonna say, well, 67 trillion years ago or 76 trillion years ago. Dr. Malachi York did not invent that. There's a lot of misinformation going on around that about what did Dr. York actually invent. In fact, Dr. York is kind of like Tariq Nasheed. Somebody who take other ideologies, sweep them up, and then tweak them a little bit and put them out there as if they're his own. Oh yeah, I saw that story too about black people claiming that they was indigenous to the UK. Insane. Starbright, I wasn't being literal. Like I was just saying that to the person. He was like, "Oh, how long they been on the earth?" So I was like, "All right, 76 trillion years." Next question. We got the bozo in the building. BYB is definitely better than FBA. Remember that. But let's keep going.
There was no FBAs when the Europeans arrived. Europeans actually in America longer than FBAs. If you look at Leif Erikson, we predate Leif Erikson. We're more indigenous to America than you are.
Erikson went up there to Newfoundland, somewhere. They hit an island somewhere up there by Canada, allegedly. So if you think he can reach up there, you didn't think black people got here?
No.
Yeah, that's just somebody not say so. It's already
no. If you do an ancestry DNA test, you're not going to cluster with Amerindians. Why is that?
Sir. They've done archaeological digs. There were Negroid bones and skulls.
We was Olmec heads. Was you Olmec head, Tariq?
Yeah. Laughing.
Look at Tariq being so look. I'm happy I didn't skip past that. We saw how disrespectful he was to that sister, muting her, calling her names, disrespecting all Africans and all that. He on the phone with a literal white man who's a racist, laughing at him in his face, and Tariq is having the most respectful conversation we ever heard Tariq have. Trying to explain some bozo-ness to him, and the white man is just laughing at him because he know that's fake. Just laughing at him. While also using his slur, tether. Can't believe this. This bozo gave white people a new slur.
Doesn't stop reality. Yeah, you fake.
It's not reality though.
Laughing proves us right. Olmecs were black. You saying those big old Negroid faces were not black?
They look like freaking mestizoids. Like they don't look. They look indigenous. They don't look
black,
West African.
Black indigenous.
It's just, oh man, I thought I'd expect more from you, Tariq.
What we're seeing, you go down. I've been to the Olmec statues down there in Mexico. I've seen all of them. Some of the other ones look blacker than the main ones that you see. They call them Negroes down there.
Do you think West Africans are only ones?
Yeah, you being in denial. There were black natives here, sir.
Do you think? Hang on.
And you lived in Australia. Yeah, there's black natives there. There were black natives all over this planet, sir.
But you understand that Australian Aboriginals, everyone outside of Africa, are more genetically similar than those people within Africa because of the genetic model.
That's coping. You're coping, sir.
No, it's not. Just because you're not the only ones with like full lips and dark skin and like kinky hair. Like those are found across the planet. That doesn't mean that they're African or they're related to Africans in any like serious sense.
Don't talk over me. You lived in Australia, and over there in Tasmania, some of the original people there were black-skinned people. Over there in New Guinea, black-skinned people. Melanesia, black-skinned people. Those are black people, sir.
But they're genetically closer to everyone outside of Africa.
They were black people. You're trying to talk this genetic stuff. They're black people, sir. They call them Negritos for a reason.
Now everyone's black? I thought black was just a descriptor for FBAs.
No, you pushing the goalpost.
Oh, the white man caught you right there, Tariq. Y'all did say that only FBAs are black. Everybody else, just because you got black skin, or just because you got deep brown skin, just because you got kinky hair, just because you got the features, don't make you black. Only FBA is black. Now you trying to claim those people as black, and he just asked you. I thought only FBA is black. This is bad. Tariq going outside. You know that you got a stupid audience if you was to have this kind of conversation and you was to get beat up like this in the conversation and you still post it as some type of W. And I just noticed Tariq called the dude alt-right. Who even uses that term anymore? He's stuck in the 2010s, bro. That's what I noticed about all these bozos. They stuck in the 2010s. They debate like they in the 2010s. They talk like this is the 2010s. Everything is the 2010s.
Well, sir, you're trying to troll your way out of facts.
All I'm saying is when Columbus arrived in America, there was no FBAs running around with like bows and arrows.
There were black people. There were black people here, sir. When he got here, there were black people here.
Black is a very vague sense.
No.
Maybe, yes, if you go down the Caribbean.
Why did the Portuguese go down in Brazil when they got...
Exactly. Shout out to AZ in the building. They definitely said Africans are not black. Now Tariq is calling. I just brought this up. These people will argue you down that they got no connection to Africans. Africans ain't black. Now Tariq is talking about all the black groups of people that's all around the world. Exactly. Especially if somebody who was a black Aboriginal from Australia came over here, what would he say? And they try to speak. Oh, why are you speaking for us? You being a tether. You ain't black. You an Aboriginal from Australia. You ain't black. You ain't our people. Let's keep it going.
Out here, because they were some of the first people to get
when
here.
When we say black, are we talking about West African, or are we talking about people with phenotypes?
Sir, black skin, because you got people in Asia who are not what, quote, African, but they're called negritos. That means little black persons.
And those negritos are still genetically similar, more similar to everyone outside of Africa than within Africa.
It's still black.
It's a phenotype. So, like those negritos are genetically closer to me than they are to you.
They're still black.
It doesn't matter. Genetically, I'm closer to them than you are.
But no, you're not. You are a white man, sir.
Yeah, because, look.
Negrito. Sir, listen to what you're saying.
The out of Africa theory proves this.
You are a European.
Uh-huh.
Your genetics don't even go back that far, sir. You new booty.
When humans left Africa.
New booty. Hey, yo, new booty. New booty.
There was a genetic bottleneck, meaning that those who stayed within Africa, which was most humans, there was only a small selection of those that actually left Africa. And because there was a genetic bottleneck, everyone outside of Africa with those migrations are genetically closer to each other than those within Africa. Just because you look phenotypically more like, say, an Aboriginal or a Solomon Islander, genetically, you're further away from them than I am.
Babble. This is Mayo babble, sir. When y'all got around all of those black people, y'all said Negro. All right, so stop it.
It's like me saying that like Chinese people are related to me because...
Don't talk over me, white man.
Oh, now
you guys saw those black people everywhere you went, and you start calling them Negroes. You called them Negroes in Asia. You called them Negroes in Polynesia. You called them Negroes here. You called them Negroes in Africa, sir.
They're not related to you, though.
Yeah, over here they are. The ones here we are. The black Aboriginals here are related to us, sir.
What black Aboriginals?
All of them.
There's no black Aboriginals.
There are black Aboriginals here, sir.
No, it's a delusion that FBAs have because you don't want people to say, go back.
That's a projection, sir. You're not going to try to, I'm white and I say so, your way out of it. Too many white explorers saw them, sir. Balboa saw black people here.
No, he didn't. Around the world, I just looked at what you said, evidence you showed. You just mentioned the Cheddar Man. The Cheddar Man is from 10,000 years ago. Cut it out. I just asked you, where's the black populations in Europe? And you're going to talk about something that 10,000 years ago, before white people even existed. You can't make this up. This is why y'all where y'all at. This is why y'all where y'all at. Yep, new booty. New booty. New booty. Hey, yo, pause. New booty.
Vizarro, black people here. Ponce de Leon saw black people here.
There's no description that describes them as West African.
Sir, you trying to do a Jedi mind trick with the words West African. I didn't say West African.
That's where FBAs came from, for the most part, West Africa.
All of us, not all of us. Nope, not all of us.
There were no people that looked
Yes,
like you in the continental USA when Europeans
was.
arrived.
It was 100%. Why did your fellow white Europeans say it then?
They didn't. Show me one description, one transcript.
Names. Vizarro said the people here look like the people in Ethiopia. That's what they called Africa.
And Ethiopians were described as Caucasoid during that time. They're
Dad, this is the battle of the pseudos. Ethiopians was never Caucasoids. That was something that a racist white man who never been to Ethiopia just started labeling the original civilization there as quote unquote Caucasian. Because if you read those racist teachings, they said that all those civilizations that you see in the Nile Valley were built by Europeans. I mean, not Europeans, white people. And then the white people went into sub-Saharan Africa and was bringing black people up as slaves. And then they started race mixing with them. And then the civilizations collapsed. And the people you see in those areas now are the descendants of those mixing, of that mixing. That's one of the reasons why they say that black people and white people shouldn't mix. That's because they say like, well, the offspring will be smarter than the Africans, but they won't be as smart as the whites, and they won't be able to maintain the civilization. Like, come on. This is the battle of the pseudos right now. The battle of the pseudos. Let's see who's going to win.
Afro-Asiatic people. They didn't describe them as Bantu or Niger Congo.
That's a lie, sir.
Even to this day, what, you can't tell the difference between a...
If you don't stop, they weren't... The term Caucasoid didn't exist, sir. The term Caucasian didn't exist till the 1700s. Who do you think you're talking to?
Can you tell the difference between...
Did you say they said they look Caucasoid? The term Caucasoid or Caucasian didn't exist until Linnaeus made it up in the damn late 1700s, sir.
They've always differentiated Horn of Africans from West Africans. That's all.
No,
they never did. When they was trying to say that they not the same, they were saying that the original civilization that built the area was white, and then they got the African slaves, brought them, had babies with them, and then that produced the modern day group. Like this, again, this is lies. And also, like he said, which is true, there's more biodiversity among humans in Africa than outside of Africa. So of course, if there's more biodiversity in Africa than outside of Africa, and every look is represented in Africa, you'll be able to look at certain groups, certain tribes in certain regions, and be able to tell them tell them apart. But that doesn't mean that they don't recognize them as all black. For example, when the Greek explorers and the Greeks talked about Africa, they talked about them as one black people. They described them as different shades. They described them as looking kind of different, but they just said they all black. They didn't differentiate. That whole quote unquote differentiating thing is something that white people just started doing to cause division, divide and rule, divide and conquer. That's it.
Called all of Africa Ethiopia at one point. They didn't say nothing about no Caucasoid or Caucasian. The term didn't exist.
Can you tell the difference between a Horn of African and a West African?
Sir, they called all of them Ethiopians.
Okay, Tariq, can you tell the difference between...
Stop it. They didn't use the term.
And also with this, you can tell the difference, so they different people. So does that make y'all different people than the Greeks and the Romans? Because you could definitely tell somebody who was a Greek and a Roman from somebody who's from Germany, somebody from Scotland, somebody from Ireland, somebody from France. You can definitely tell those two groups of people apart. You can definitely tell them apart by looking at them. So that means y'all not the same people. That means Western civilization is a lie. Especially because those people never saw y'all as they people. They described y'all as pink. They said y'all pink, they brown, the Persians are white, and the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, and all the other people in Africa are black. That's what they said.
From Africa for that continent until the late 1500s.
You won't let me land my plane because you know I'm about to body you.
Here, you just line your ass off, and you ain't about to do that. I'm gonna correct you in real time. They didn't use the term Africa until the late 1500s to describe the whole continent, sir. They would call the place Ethiopia, and when the European explorers got here, they said the people here look like the people in Ethiopia, meaning the Africans, sir. This is very well
No,
documented.
they're not referring to West African people that look.
They weren't referring to African people, period. Like, see, now this is a heavyweight pseudo battle. Like, we got two pseudos arguing on screen. We got a pseudo right here. This bozo literally tried to claim that there was black people all around the world. I said, if you believe out of Africa, yeah, there was black people all around the world, but those black people disappeared. And then I said, well, name the black groups that are still in Europe. He named a group. He named the Cheddar Man, which is from 10,000 years ago, before white people even existed, before other groups even existed. I just literally acknowledged that there was black people traveling all around the world coming out of Africa, but those black groups disappeared. They got faded. They was gone. They not around no more. So the same way they wasn't around no more in Europe, Asia, India, they wasn't around no more in the Americas. Like, do you really believe there was populations of black people just running around the Americas the same way that you had populations of black people running around Africa, unchanged? That doesn't even make any sense. Doesn't even make any sense. All the way up into the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, there was populations of black people running around. In the 1800s, like they had just walked out of Africa last Thursday. See, you switching what you're supposed to be saying. The Cheddar Man doesn't disprove anything I said. It actually disproved what you said. Because you trying to argue that there was always Europe, there was other black people still around. The Cheddar Man is from over 10,000 years ago. You can't make this up. Oh yeah, so yeah, we could put you on timeout and get you out of here because you saying they was in the Caribbean as well. You can go. Go read a book. I'm gonna use this because you're not smart enough to be in this conversation. Yes, make sure y'all smashing the like button because this is crazy.
Response can't be no, it don't work like that. You got to bring scholarship, sir. Go get a book by Von Woot now. Unexpected Faces in Early America. This is a German white man, like he's a white man like yourself. This white man had all of these artifacts showing ancient black people living here, sir. I'm giving you book references. Go get another white man who taught at Yale, Leo Werner, talked about the black tribes that were here. Go get those studies, study the work of Constantine Rafinesque. He was an early botanist and historian. 1800s talked about black tribes running around the United States.
Europeans during that time were differentiated between Ethiopians and West Africans. Like today, you can tell the difference.
No, they were not, sir. They called the whole place Ethiopia. They called it all.
Yes, Ethiopia just meant black. It didn't mean a group of blacks. In fact, Ethiopians in the area we call Ethiopia never called themselves Ethiopians until Haile Selassie, if I'm not mistaken. It was his Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie who named it from Abyssinia, renamed it from Abyssinia to Ethiopia. Ethiopia just meant black people. That's why they was calling black people Ethiopians. Ethiopian did not mean a specific group of black people.
Ethiopia.
Again, let me ask you a very simple question. We're back.
Oh no, because I'm teaching you, sir. You don't ask me while I'm teaching you. The Portuguese, when they got to Brazil, they made a distinction between the black people that they brought from Guinea, because that was another thing they called West Africa. They called that Guinea too. They had Negros de Guinea and Negros de Terra. That meant blacks of the land and blacks from Guinea. Why did they make that distinction?
It sounds like babble, honestly. FBA babble. Can you tell the
So are you saying what I just said was
Oh, he called him. He said FBA babble. FBA babble.
babble? Are you saying the Negros de Terra is babble?
Yes, I am. I'm
Oh,
saying that
let's stop it right this family. And I've done this before. Y'all Google it. Google Negros de Terra and Negros de Guinea. That's what the Portuguese, when they came here, early 1500s, they made a distinction. Negros de Terra means blacks of the land, the black people who are already here. This is very well documented. And then they made a distinction between them and the black people that were brought over from Africa. Negros de Terra, Negros de Guinea. I want everybody to Google those terms or look them up through AI. See,
okay, Tariq.
this is how you shut down I'm white so nonsense. That don't work no more, sir. We don't do I'm white and I say so. We do scholarship at this point. See?
Can you let me ask you a question. You've been babbling now. Can you tell the difference between an Eritrean, a Somali, an Ethiopian, and someone
Okay.
from Ghana, someone from Congo, someone from Nigeria? Is it very simple?
Just spinning your wheels, Davinsky. Thank you so much. I've debunked you and you're just spinning
You
your
did
wheels.
not divide.
Yeah, I'm not just going to have you deflect over and over, sir. We're not.
That was the battle of the pseudos. And I would say Tariq lost. Tariq, you lost that. You lost that. Because at least the white dude tried to at least answer your questions. Even when he was wrong, he tried to at least answer all your questions. You refused to answer his questions about can you tell certain groups of Africans apart. You refuse. Tariq, you're a bozo. You lost this. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. This was disgusting. This was embarrassing. A pseudo battle. And yeah, I can't do this. I can't do this no more. Yeah. We can get off this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, especially because I gotta move on. I got to move on. Let's look at this. Somebody we ain't see in a moment. Tariq's mother. This is Tariq's mother, y'all. This is Tariq's mother. Remember, Tariq was thanking God for Yvette Carnell for starting ADOS and putting them on. So let's see what she got to say about the birthright citizenship stuff. Let's see.
Around ways in which we are being excluded or could be. What is going on, family? How is everybody doing? Listen, sorry. I didn't let y'all know early last week that we were not having a show.
Yvette is another one. She always not doing no show. She definitely getting that money for shows, but that she not doing. It's always, oh, my computer don't work. Oh, this, oh, that. You not, Yvette, you out there blowing that bag with them white women. We not stupid. We not stupid.
Apologize for that. Sorry. But listen, we here now. We dwell in the present moment. Listen, fam, we have to talk about something. And it's interesting. I don't really understand, it's hard to kind of understand how to talk about it because so much of what's going on now in my mind just kind of revolves around ways in which we are being excluded or could be excluded. So before we even get to birthright, citizenship, and the case, I think about the campaign finance reform case, which said,
we're not doing that. We going right to the birthright. We skipping past that other stuff. Let's go. Let's get to the birthright. Shout out to everybody in the building.
About Mamdani and the woman who ran, and I'm gonna just play a clip from her. In I think it was Denver, and who won, beat like a 15-time incumbent or whatever. I see many reasons why we didn't become that in terms of the CBC and Democrats telling everybody what they couldn't become, and Democrats telling everybody what they couldn't do. And now you have a group, a lot of which a disproportionate number are either immigrants or children of immigrants. Not all. Mamdani got all these people elected, didn't even care what they had done, what they had not get them all elected. They'll learn on the job, and I agree with that. Our people won't even retire to let new blood in. So, and I'm just wondering where this leaves us. So let me start.
Here we go. I found it. Shout out to everybody in the building. I'm about to have to start watching this in advance so I can at least get to the part where they talk about it.
if you just to help you understand the energy that is coming from this quote unquote new left, I'm going to start there. I'm just going to show you. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll wait. I'm going to show you a little bit from I'm going to show you a little bit from Thomas, or maybe more than a little bit in a minute, right? And just kind of walk down what happened and why I think something I thought I would never say in my life, which is, hey, I actually agree with what Clarence Thomas was saying. That makes sense. So this is the case for those of you who don't know. I know y'all been working and stuff been going on, but this is we're talking about Clarence Thomas's dissent in the birthright citizenship case, and he says blacks were entitled to citizenship, right? Because they were Americans. They had no other homeland, owed no allegiance to any foreign power, and were subject to no authority. They fought and bled in the same battles and gained and gloried in the same victories, and were liable to be called upon to defend America in time of war alongside the other citizens. Life and writings of Frederick Douglass. So we're outlining Justice Clarence Thomas' dissent in the birthright citizenship case. And he goes deep into it, and I think we owe this a good reading because we care about this, or at least we should. Foreign temporary visitors were attached to their home country, lacked similar bonds to this country, and would not.
Shout out to a pimp named Slickback for the 5. Let me see. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure she blinded by hate. Because remember, Yvette Carnell does not like black immigrants, bro. She do not like black immigrants. She blinded by hate. Shout out to the hood mistress in the building. Yep. No surprise she agreed with Uncle Ruckus. Yep, the mother of FBA. Can't make this up.
Not be called upon in times of war. Americans, consistent with their settler ethos, believed that citizens were the people who called a place home. It is not just where you are birthed. It is not just where your mother gives birth to you. It is a place called home. And if your homeland can call up on you, they can say, hey, send that person back to us. We believe they have committed a crime, or whatever the case may be. This is not your homeland. Accordingly to domicile, a person's legal home played a key role in both state and national citizenship in America. Right? A person was a citizen of the state where he had his domicile. A lot of this comes down to domicile. When foreigners temporarily visited, their national character was unchanged. Such visitors were strangers, not subjects. A person born here but domiciled in a foreign country was therefore considered as much a stranger to the country as his father. Now we get to what we're talking about. We're talking about this was to answer Dred Scott. That is why when Dred Scott went to court, he argued that to be a citizen, it is only necessary that he should have acquired a domicile. He didn't say just be born, a domicile. After this, court held that Scott was not a citizen because he was black. Republicans in Congress, such as Representative John Bingham, stated that a person was a citizen if he was born and domiciled in the United States. Scott was a citizen in their view because he was born to Americans, not just temporary sojourners. Right?
Okay. None of this proves anything. None of this proves anything. You're going through Justice. I think this is Justice Clarence's dissent. None of this proves anything because, again, American laws comes out of English common law, and in English common law, it said if you was born in England, you are a British subject. You could be born here and leave the next day. You are still a British subject. Birthright citizenship is the law of the land. That's it. Like, I don't know why it was always the law of the land. We were the ones who they were rejecting from not just us, other people too. They didn't want us to have those rights. And then the 14th Amendment was written, and now we got that rights along with other people. So again, this is nonsense. Shout out to the visionary for coming through with another 199. Yo, he said she want to be a black woman so bad. Yvette is a black woman. She, but yeah.
So he's saying you can't be just a temporary sojourner. Being an American means calling America home, and calling America home means much more. Calling America home means much more than being born here. That's what let me just say this. What Clarence Thomas is pointing to, let me come out of this real quick. He's pointing to how America has kind of become this transient country. It's not really a country anymore. If you allow birthright citizenship the way America currently operates, it's not a country anymore. It's just a place where people can kind of glow.
So so England was not a country. Great Britain was not a country. That's what you're saying? Like, again, totally made up, total lie. And shout out to Purcell in the building. You are 110% right. These bozos are in agreement with Clarence Thomas. That's how down bad they are. And also, we got to remember, this is not FBA. This is ADOS. She's the mother of FBA. She their mother. This the big dog. This the final boss.
Trot. He even goes into, if you read the entire decision, he even goes into like, nobody back then could even have the mindset to say you will have dual citizenship. There's nothing dual about citizenship. You only have one homeland. So all these things that even billionaires do, in my mind, and they globe trot and run out around, is in direct contradiction of the idea of having a homeland. That's how America becomes like this transient country. You come here for a while, you do whatever, you send money back home, you don't really, you may never feel like you are a citizen of this country. That's kind of this is not the key, but that's kind of what we're speaking to. Now, let me just go to this quote really quickly. The phrase "not subject to any foreign power" excluded from citizenship children of foreign temporary visitors who were subject to the power of their home nation. In doing so, the court adds to the the court today takes the extraordinary step of holding facially unconstitutional the president's order excluding from citizenship the children of foreign temporary visitors and illegal aliens. In doing so, the court adds to the sad history of the 14th Amendment, which was designed and understood to secure rights for freed blacks, but has instead been repurposed for political projects that the Reconstruction Congress did not support. See,
but that's a lie, though. That is a total lie. Again, the issue of birthright citizenship for like Chinese people, for Mexicans and all that was already being discussed. This was their way. The 14th Amendment birthright citizenship clause was their way to solve this issue once and for all, to adjudicate it once and for all. And there has never been a time where the courts didn't affirm that. Like, this is literally just made up.
People say, well, the Constitution says, no. That it's not just about what the Constitution says. It's a facial argument, I understand that. But it's not just about what the Constitution says. It's about the intention of that and how it was historically interpreted. This is a modern interpretation. This is what Clarence Thomas is saying, and I agree. This is what he's saying, and I agree. This is a modern interpretation. This is not how it was always originally interpreted. And I'm going to tie that back in a second to what I just said about the new left and just kind of getting pushed out. And I'm not saying that they're pushing us out. I'm saying that if we don't do something to make sure that we are understood and valued as a specific base of this country, I'm going to give you an example in a minute of what's going to happen and what it looks like is happening just in terms of something that Kamala Harris is doing right now, and we have to fix it.
I told you, like, again, Yvette is lying. Like, I can't believe, like, that's what I said. Like, Yvette is so wicked. She's the most wicked one because she's actually educated. For all you don't know, Yvette Carnell went to Howard. She's actually educated. She worked in politics as the highest at some of the highest levels as being a staffer for not one but two different congresswomen. She know what she's saying don't make no sense. She knows this. She knows this. Exactly, Fahima. She cooked Clarence Thomas and called him out on his hypocrisy. Shout out to Romario in the building. Of course, they never get reparations. They don't even care about that. They don't even care about that.
And we may not have wealth, but we're a larger population than a lot of the groups that are now showing the most promise. Now, let me show you this next one. I'm not going to go on too long. I'm trying not to go on too long, but I think there's some really good stuff in here. Never thought I saw from Justice Clarence Thomas. In America, you were generally a citizen if you were here and this was your home. The legal word for home was domicile. The concepts were so linked as to be taken as effectively synonymous at times, such that Justice Bushrod Washington could say, do they still have the name Bushrod or Bushrod? Do they? I'm sorry. Citizenship means domicile, permanent home residence. Of course, the birthplace closely correlated with domicile. Most children were born where their parents domiciled and where, as a result, they were domiciled.
Shout out to Naps in the building. Go subscribe to Naps channel. Yeah, this is not getting them closer to no check. But like Yvette Carnell said, there are things more important than a check. That's how she justifies supporting Trump. She don't like, all right, we ain't gonna get reparations, but at least he's gonna get rid of them immigrants.
Correlation was especially strong in the 19th century, when crossing an ocean for a temporary visit was an unappealing prospect for pregnant women. Come on now, Uncle Clarence, they call you something else, but you're right on this one. Because birthplace was often heuristic for the domicile. We already read part of that. States, it could be generally stated that children were citizens of their birthplace. But see, that's why. It wasn't like, well, we say now if you born here. No, it was because of what it meant. Wasn't nobody just crossing the border, having a baby, flying over, having a baby. Like, and I know everybody says, well, he's an originalist. I get that, but this is right. I hate when people say, well, this is not what the founders intended. The founders didn't live in 2026. Y'all remember, y'all saw the Chinese man who had a bunch of women over here having babies through in vivo or whatever, and it was surrogates, and he was just having babies to have them American and then sending them back home. Like, who could have? Nobody was thinking that. And again, it was set up to fix Dred Scott, set up to make us citizens, and somehow that is not understood. That is not a priority, and if you say it, you're laughed at. Okay. Finally, Finally, each person had one and only one domicile. Every person must have a domicile, and every person can have only one domicile. Inhabitants. This is what they're telling us about. Oh no, that's just not true. Yes, it is. So if someone did not intend to remain where he was at the moment, the law ascribed his last place as his domicile. The law ascribed his last place as his domicile. Let's just go through it. That's the meaningful tie one. Hold on a second. A temporary visitor whose homeland was somewhere else, although he had legal rights and was entitled to dignified treatment, lacked the ties to this country that would make him fit for citizenship. He's always, this is not your country. Doesn't mean that you get treated bad, because the real issue is what determines a citizen? The real issue is, what are the qualifications? The people who, the intent of this was, we're going to make these Negro citizens. It was.
Shout out to Starbright for sending the gifts. Much appreciated. Starbright, make sure you drop a comment so I can make sure you properly seen.
It wasn't to make everybody who decides to have a baby in this country a citizen. That was not the intent. If you have no tie to this country, no tie to the culture and everything else of this country, the intent was not just to tie you to this country and grant you full citizenship just because you were born here, or your child, or your child get full citizenship because your child was born here.
We gotta speed Yvette up a little bit. She babbling too much.
That was never the understanding. And I think people are being just kind of uniquely strange and uniquely weird in terms of how they are dealing with this and trying to understand it. I only have a couple more. I just want to make sure everybody understands this because I'm going to tie it to something else in just a second. When children of temporary visitors born on American soil claim to be citizens based on citizenship clause, the executive branch repeatedly denied their claims to citizenship. So what happened with, well, that's what it says. That's what the Constitution says. You got to change the Constitution. No, it was not always the way. That was not always the case, sir, ma'am. Joseph Speck was denied citizenship after being born in the United States to parents domiciled in Switzerland. In 1878, Speck claimed to be a citizen after his father returned with him to Switzerland. President Hayes, acting Secretary of State Frederick Seward, rejected his claim, although Speck may have been able to claim citizenship had he been domiciled in the U.S. Seward denied his claim because his status as well as his domicile, according to the well understood principles of international municipal law, follows that a father until the boy attains his majority.
More babble. Panther, she supports Trump. Like, it's obvious to a duck. And again, when that down ballot initiative that she came up with, that's Trump support. So I don't know if you're smart enough to know that or not. Also, Trump is not correct. I challenge you to show me where Trump is correct at. The people who wrote the 14th Amendment, the birthright citizenship clause, never intended it just to be for newly freed enslaved Africans, formerly enslaved Africans. They never intended it just to be for black people. No court has ever said it was supposed to be just for black people. Trump literally just made that up. And it doesn't matter if Canada or the UK have birthright citizenship. Doesn't matter. We talking about America. So you, 3 strikes, you out. I'm about to, I see that he's been arguing with people. But yeah. So yeah, let me put you on timeout. You out of here. 3 strikes, you out. You've been you got it wrong with the question you asked, and now you arguing with people. Oh yeah, you out of here. Oh, you say we have a troll? Yeah, he's out of here. Let's go.
But I was born here. No, that's not necessarily the understanding, you see. The Supreme Court could have ruled differently. I know the news will tell you, no, there's no way they could have. It's in there. It's just like the Constitution says what it says, and there's nothing anything going to do. Ludwig Hausding was denied citizenship after being born in the United States to parents domiciled in Saxony. Hausding's parents were Saxon subjects temporarily in the United States. Temporarily. Letter from Secretary of State F. Freeling-Hushing to J. Casson in papers relating to the foreign relations of the United States in 395. President Cleveland's Secretary of State Frederick explained in 1885 that Hausding was not constitutionally entitled to citizenship because Hausding's parents were not domiciled here. He remained subject to any foreign power. Come on now. Come on. It was a lot in here. I can't get to everything, but I'm going to get to a little bit of it because he has some good examples. Richard Greiser was denied citizenship after being born in the United States to parents domiciled in Germany. He was born in 1867 in the state of Ohio. Letter from Secretary of State T. Bayard to B. Winchester. His father was domiciled in Germany. According to President Cleveland's Secretary of State, Thomas Bayard, in 1885, Greiser therefore was on his birth subject to a foreign power and not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
Nonsense. This is all nonsense. Shout out to Kangaroo in the building for coming through with the 499. Yeah. Shout out to you for coming through with the 499. Yeah. I'm happy about that. But yeah, Justin Mart, you right. Like I'm falling asleep right here. Like, nah, we're not gonna listen to this babble. She babble more than anybody else. This is crazy babble, but we're gonna at least let her get through it. We're gonna at least let her get through it.
These are just examples. Friedrich de Bury. They had some names back here, boy. Friedrich de Bury was denied citizenship after being born in the United States to parents domiciled in Austria. When de Bury sought protection as an American citizen in 1886 after returning to Europe, Secretary Bayard denied his claim to citizenship. Although DeBury was born in the city of New York, Secretary Bayard explained his parents were temporarily resident and returned to Europe a few years later. See, this whole thing of just being born, this thing of just being born somewhere, it was always more complicated than that. It was
never more complicated than that. If he would have pressed his claim, he would have went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court would have found that yes, he is a citizen, just like the Chinese dude did. Remember, they tried this stunt with the Chinese dude. He pressed his claim and went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court told him, "Nah, y'all wrong. He is a U.S. citizen. That's not correct." See, all this stuff you reading is about people who were lied to, and they jacked the lie. That's it. These are lies. This is a lie. That's why when they try to do this to the Chinese dude, he took it all the way to the Supreme Court and he won. This is a lie.
More complicated than that. I'm trying to get through this because I want to tie this into something else in terms of what's happening. The child of a woman named Mary Devereaux was denied citizenship after being born in the United States in 1889. Devereaux was an Irish woman who arrived in New York and promptly went to the hospital to give birth the next day. She was on one. She was not yet, however, lawfully admitted to the country. Although the baby was undoubtedly born on American soil, it was not an American citizen because Devereaux had not been lawfully admitted. But see, now it's just like, it doesn't matter if you're the child of an immigrant, it doesn't matter if they're a citizen or whatever. The child is an American. Y'all crazy if y'all think otherwise. Seed letter from F. Reeve, acting solicitor of Treasury. President Harrison's administration denied the baby citizenship. Ooh. I am therefore of the opinion that the child in controversy was born during the temporary removal of the mother from the importing vessel to lying in hospital for her own comfort, pending further examination as to whether she.
All right, we got to watch something more interesting. Like, she's babbling. But so let's just talk about the Chinese case, because again, she's reading a bunch of cases that happened that the people did not press their issue, but the Chinese dude did press his issue. Matter of fact, let's look at his great-grandson. Let's look at his great-grandson right now. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you're hitting the like button. This is his grandson, by the way.
Profile ruling that came from the High Court today upheld the Constitution's guarantee of birthright citizenship. The court voted 6-3 to strike down the executive order, drastically scaling back that right, signed by President Trump shortly after the start of his second term. Chief Justice John Roberts, along with Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, joined the court's 3 liberal justices in the majority. The landmark case goes back nearly 130 years. In 1898, Wong Kim Ark was the subject of a case against the United States, calling for children who are born on U.S. soil to be granted U.S. citizenship immediately. Joining us now for more on this is Norman Wong. He is the great-grandson of Wong Kim Ark. Thank you so much for being here. So first and foremost, what is your reaction to today's ruling?
Before he get into that, exactly. Again, the same way they tried to deny those other people, but they held it down. They tried to deny his great-grandfather. He didn't hold it down. He went to court and he won. That's it. It's the same thing Trump just tried to do. That executive order was Trump trying to make it up as he go along, and it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, you're wrong. That's it. That's it.
Well, I'm happy for it. I'm happy, not that it's a victory for me or Wong Kim Ark, but I think it's a victory for America, and that it's the America that we believe in. And I think that we need to make this country even better. And immigrants have always been part of this country. And, you know, Ronald Reagan said it was our strength as he left office in 1989. And I think the Supreme Court did right for this country with their decision.
You have stated your great-grandfather didn't set out to be a symbol, but he did want to improve the life of all Americans. Do you think he did that?
I think he did it primarily he stood up for himself, for his right. And in doing so, he stood up for everyone's right. And he was just a common man. It tells you the common man, if they stick to principles and stand up for their rights, they stand up for everyone. And I think that tells everyone we have skin in the game, whether or not we are personally affected at the moment, that we need to care for each other, because in the end, if we don't, we will all probably lose at the end.
I have to be quick with you on this, but do you think it is significant given we are days away from America's 250th birthday?
That's only more ironic that the 14th Amendment has been around for more than half of the United States existence, and the Wong Kim Ark decision has been in effect for 128 years, and it's more than half of the age of this country, and it stood the test of time. And if we change that, I think people will eventually realize the damage that will do to this nation and our standing in the world.
Norman Wong, thank you for your time.
Yes. Yes, as you heard. I was just about to cut it off, but it ended. As you heard. Exactly, Justin March. Trump's whole family is nothing but immigrants. He's an immigrant. Like his mother's from Scotland, his father's from Germany. And I don't even think both of them was even here legally. Yes, diasporian Kamala Harris can run for president because, again, she was born in America. She wasn't born in foreign soil. So both her parents did come from another country, but she was born right here in America. So yes, she can. Thank the Asians. LOL. Yeah, but let's see. Exactly, Fahima. If they had failed to hold it up, it would have created a class of stateless people. Not only that, they would have used that to make black people stateless people. Because remember, they are going after the 14th Amendment. They want to strip us of our citizenship. And that's the thing with these bozos keep saying, well, they can't do that because where they going to deport us to? They don't got to deport us nowhere. We just going to be a stateless group in America. We can't vote, can't run for office, can't do none of that, but we can get a job. We can get taxed. We can serve in the military. We can do all those things to improve America, but we can't do anything to improve ourselves. Exactly. You will have all the responsibility of citizenship, but none of the benefits of citizenship. But yeah, I'm gonna let her finish up real quick, and then we're gonna get off this. We gotta go.
But she belongs to the prohibited class of immigrants, did not become, by reason of its birth, under such circumstances, an American citizen. See, all this stuff they've been saying all day, well, this is just the Constitution. It goes on and on. Like he had examples for a long while. Scholar after scholar has decided that domicile is required for citizenship. Domicile is required for citizenship. I mean, I just, these children were not born to diplomats. They were not part of invading armies or Indian tribes. They were simply foreigners born on American soil, but not domiciled here. And they were all denied citizenship under the Citizenship Clause by those in a better position to know its original meaning than we are today. Ooh. See, he's saying that y'all are not applying the original meaning to this. Y'all not doing it.
That's a lie. We are applying the original meaning. He literally just made that up. He just made that up. But we're going to let you finish up, and then we're getting off this. Because he did, in fact, just make that up. Again, he's citing examples of people telling people, you're not a citizen. But when that issue went to court, what did the court say? See, anybody can say anything. But what did the court say?
Just one more. I think just one more. I'm just give everybody, just give everybody, even the most expansive executive of interpretation of the citizenship clause ultimately denied citizenship to a child born here but domiciled abroad. When Francois Heinrich, born of parents who ultimately returned to their native Austria, claimed to be an American citizen, President Grant's executive branch did not say he was originally clothed with American nationality, but it then promptly denied Heinrich's claim to American citizenship. Heinrich was instead, despite being born in the United States, a citizen of Austria, where he was domiciled. Francois A. Heinrich should be held by the United States to be an Austrian subject and treated as such. He is not an American citizen. He is not an American system. Let me tell y'all something. Clarence Thomas was getting it. If you get some time and you...
No, he wasn't getting it. We getting off this. Shout out to everybody in the building. I'm sorry I bored y'all with that, but we just have to get that out the way. Nonsense. I'm not going to let you read his whole dissent with nothing but weird examples that don't mean anything. Okay, people were saying, these people are not citizens. And then what happened when it went to court? The court said, they are citizens. Ridiculous. You can't make this up. She, whatever she got to be, just like Clarence Thomas. They, whatever they got to be to follow behind the Republican Party, to glaze them. Nasty work. Exactly. Glazing Clarence Thomas. Nasty work. Nasty work. But anyway, I want to get into this video real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. We're going to cover this. This is Vaush. He's talking about Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris is about to try. You know, we all know she's going to be trying to run for president again. But he's talking about her. I watched a tiny bit of this, but I didn't watch the whole thing. We're going to watch it together because, you know, I can't watch too much of this by myself. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's get to this.
Kamala Harris, who we all know is gearing up for a 2028 presidential run, has apparently been reaching out to Mamdani and other pro-Palestinian activists in the lead-up.
That's a terrible move by her. Terrible move. You just legitimizing all the stuff that they said about you. That you really didn't care about the Palestinians and you was okay with it and all this other stuff. I would never reach out to them. They got their own political project. They're never going to work with you. They're never going to back you.
Let me get my goddamn Barack Ravid. Trump is finally fed up with Netanyahu. Trust me, guys. Updates in peace, please. I'm taking Vance over her. Sorry. Would rather the decline of America be pinned on somebody like Vance than on a candidate who libs are going to get excited and then apathetic over.
What he just said. See, this is why I keep telling y'all. The lefties are the enemy. Like what he just said. I would rather a candidate like Vance than Kamala Harris. So you want Vance who would just carry on Trump's agenda, but do it in a more competent manner. That would end up hurting black people even more. Would end up hurting people all around the world even more. That would end up hurting Palestinians even more. Like these lefties don't care about nobody. These white lefties, they don't care about nobody. Rich white lefties, they don't care about nobody. Nobody. What kind? Like imagine saying that. Look what we are dealing with right now in America, and knowing that J.D. Vance would just continue that, but just do it more competently, so it would be able to get done easier, and be able to go further, and say and looking at that and saying, well, I'd rather that than Kamala Harris, who we know is at worst going to be like Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was one of the greatest presidents in American history. She's going to be president and she's going to rule just like Joe Biden or Obama or Clinton. All three of those people I named is top 15. Top 15. We have had 45 people be president in America. So we break it up evenly. Top 15 is the best. Middle 15 is, the middle. Bottom 15 is, on the worst side. Trump is the bottom of the bottom. He's the worst president we ever had in America. Worst president. But somehow you would rather somebody who would carry on that legacy than Kamala Harris. You can't make this up. Shout out to the visionary for coming through with the 199. I would take either one. I would take either one over JD Vance. I'll take either one. I'll take either one.
Wrote this, not Barack Ravid, if that's what you were asking. What if she shows actual improvement? Doesn't matter. Listen, I know this sounds crazy. I understand this sounds like weird purity testing.
Yes, it does sound crazy because somebody just asked you, all right, you have a problem with Kamala. You said you would rather JD Vance over Kamala, but what if Kamala shows improvement and is doing better? You said it doesn't matter. This is another reason why I said Kamala reaching out to these people is a bad idea because they don't care if you do better. You were already doing good. They knew this. You doing better is not going to convince them to support you. This is a total waste of time. These people are your enemy. You're supposed to be going to war with them, not trying to befriend them. That's a waste of time.
But I think it would be good if we had political leaders who weren't shameless liars, who backed the genocide and are only now trying to pivot to change their minds, now that it's become abundantly clear that any pro-genocide candidate in 2028 is going to get smashed.
Kamala Harris did not back a genocide. You backed the genocide. Y'all lefties backed the genocide. Y'all the ones who backed it. Y'all, the genocide of all the people who have died around the world. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead now because of Trump doing what he said he was going to do. You backed the actual genocide. And hundreds of thousands or more are going to die. When Trump leaves office, if he even leaves office in 2028, in 2029, the death count, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody says it's at least 2 million. You guys are the ones who really backed the genocide.
I want political, because listen, we are not talking about change and growth from like young people who made a mistake and have changed their mind.
Look at that. That's the justification. Because again, when you point to all these lefty candidates that they running, all the racist things they have said and done, all this, it's like, well, they change. They change. They were young. They made some mistakes. They change. They change. Just like the Bernie Bros thingy. How many of the Bernie Bros became MAGA and then now coming back to become down with the new lefties? And when you point that out, like, hey, these people are MAGA. Hey, these people voted for Trump. Well, they changed. They made honest mistakes, but they changed. They change.
We're talking about the cynical decision-making from professional liars who have been shifting their policies and their positions relentlessly for as long as it has been politically expedient to do so. She was a different person in 2020 than she was in 2024. She was a different person in 2024 than she will be in 2028. Why would these disingenuous candidates have sunk the Democratic Party? Nobody believes the party's brand anymore.
Nobody believes the party's brand because of people like you telling them not to believe it. Kamala Harris made no mistakes. She made no mistakes. Biden didn't make no mistakes. There were no mistakes. Again, these bozos are just pretending like Biden and Kamala did the genocide or Kamala supported the genocide because they wanted her to lose. Because by her losing, it brings in Trump. It brings in Trump. Trump's going to do all this bad stuff. And then that opens the door for them to come and take over the Democratic Party. That was their plan all along. They're accelerationists. They want the collapse to happen. You ain't just hear him saying, I'd rather Vance get in office and things go bad and we can pin it on Vance. Mind you, the Democratic Party is already broken. So if Vance wins and things go bad, they can just say, look, y'all gave the Republicans 8 years. We gave them 8 years. That's enough. Try something new. Something new. Look at all the good stuff Mondani is doing. Look at all the good stuff the DSA is doing. You need to try something new. This was their plan. How am I looking at it wrong? She made no mistakes. What could Kamala Harris have said or done that would have got them to support her? Nothing. Kamala Harris could have came out and said, Joe Biden is an evil man who did a genocide. We shouldn't support him. support me. And you know what they would have still said? Well, we can't support you because we got to punish the Democratic Party. Or how about you push to get Joe Biden to do the 25th Amendment or something like that and get him gone? What do you mean a deal breaker? Deal what again? Do you know how October 7th even happened? It happened because of the lefties. You know Trump was got into office, right? What triggered October 7th? Trump winning in 2016 over Hillary Clinton, right? Something people said that could cause problems for Palestinians at the time. The lefties didn't care. They knew, because again, they accelerationists. They wanted Trump to win so things would get worse. Trump wins. What does he do? He gives Jerusalem to Israel altogether. Because remember, there was 3 areas for the Palestinians: East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza. East Jerusalem is basically gone. It's all Israeli now, right? And he was also doing the Abraham Accords, which was going to get people to just say, you know what? Forget the Palestinians altogether. Forget the Palestinians altogether, right? Cool. And then that's when Hamas did October 7th to try to break up the Abraham Accords. There was a war. People were fighting a war. That's it. They fighting a war. Israel is America's ally. That's it. The end of the discussion. That ain't got nothing to do with Joe Biden. It is what it is. October 7th was started to stop the Abraham Accords. That's the only reason they did October 7th, to stop the Abraham Accords. And again, shout out to Regita. What about the Sudan genocide? That's an actual genocide. Those people didn't do anything to nobody. There was no war. It wasn't a situation where this military attacked that civilians and now they're attacking them back. What happened to the Sudan genocide? What happened to that? They don't even care about that. They don't care about that. Matter of fact, I love when this happened because I get to play this clip. When somebody asks one of these lefties who was, we can never vote for Kamala, we can never vote to the Democrats, they got to lose because of Gaza, what they had to say. Let's see. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's go to this. Let's go to this. Let's see what one of the big dogs of the lefties had to say to a black person who asked them about Sudan.
Radical activist language. When it comes to black folks, you really don't want to talk about us unless it comes from voting. When is the last time you spoke about Sudan? I'm gonna fucking ether you. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat? Suck my fucking cock, okay? You stupid fucking radlib. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my chat. Fucking stupid, moronic, fucking radlib nonsense. Suck my fucking dick. Fuck you. You think you have a pass in here to fucking speak like this? Get the fuck out of here. Dumb fuck. You think I'm gonna fucking baby you? Go ahead. Go post a fucking clip about how much of a fucking white supremacist I am. Suck my dick. Annoying, dumb fuck. God damn, dude. This kind of attitude is so insanely repulsive. Like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? We're talking about fucking creating a larger, broad, people-back movement and fucking creating solidarity, and you immediately got Root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand black people.
Exactly. I'm gonna play the rest, but I want y'all to understand that. He talking about people being baby, people coming in here. We trying to create solidarity. We trying to create a broad coalition. Coalition with who? Who is the people you trying to get a broad coalition with? that wasn't already down for the voting for the Democratic candidate, who weren't already down for doing what was best for the American people. I know white people, white racist people who don't want to vote for the Democrats because they feel like they're doing too much woke stuff. They're doing too much social justice stuff. That's who y'all trying to be in coalition with. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Like exactly. You saying that y'all mentioned Sudan daily with Pan-Africanists. We're not talking about Pan-Africanists right now. We're not talking about whatever Pan-Africanist group you're talking about. We're talking about the white lefties right now who weaponize what was going on in Gaza to make sure that the Democrats lose. So they could be in the position they are in right now. Because like I told people, I said that the Kamala loses, that's going to be it for the Democratic Party as you know it. That's it. And it's going to open the door for all these lefties to come up. And that's why they win in all these elections. Do you really think the DSA will be cleaning up the way they doing right now if Kamala Harris had been president of the United States of America and she just carried on Joe Biden's policies? No. They wanted this. They are accelerationists. They wanted this collapse. They wanted this problems so they can get into power. They don't care about actual people in Gaza. When Donald Trump, what was Joe Biden letting happen that Donald Trump wouldn't have let happen? What is Trump? What would Trump have stopped that Joe Biden would have just let happen? Nothing. It would have been worse with Trump. In fact, it's going to be worse. It is worse with Trump because Trump attacked Iran. They was trying to get Biden to do that. Biden was like, I'm not doing that. Right now, as we speak, the Israelis are literally taking over all the West Bank because you do know Trump's biggest supporter, the one who donated him the first time, saying, I'm going to give you this money if you let Israel take Jerusalem, is now saying that she gave Trump this money now, saying that, hey, let Israel take the West Bank. There will be no more Palestine. And you think the lefties care? They don't care. They don't care. What they care about? They don't care. They don't care at all. They don't care at all. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like these people are our enemies. They are our enemies. They are our enemies. They don't care about us. Literally got politicians trying to figure out how do they get the birthright citizenship clause to go after black people right now as we speak. And they talking about letting those people stay in power. You do know if Trump goes out, plays out his term, and then J.D. Vance gets elected, it's a good chance that Supreme Court is going to be 7-2 conservative or 6-3 conservative with an even more radical judge on it. You do know that, right? That spells doom for black people, but do they care? No, because they not being affected by it. And that's not going to get in the way of them creating of them doing their political project. Think about it. Black people have basically lost all voting power in the South. Is that going to get in the way of their political project of trying to convince racist white people to vote for them? No. In fact, that helps it. Because now they can argue that, well, it only makes sense to pander to the racist white people because you're never going to win by just going after black people. And even if you go after black people, you're going to turn off those other people. Like what Hassan just said. Oh, this is the way you're talking is such a turnoff. Let's rewind that a little bit.
Root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like repulsive. Like, what the damn, dude? This kind of attitude is so insanely repulsive. Like, what the fuck do you...
Exactly. So when you have these bozos trying to win congressional districts in the South and they pandering to white racists and black people, what about us? This is the response you're going to get. This is the response you're going to get.
You think you're doing? We're talking about fucking creating a larger, broad, people-backed movement and fucking creating solidarity. And you immediately got Root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand black people. Shut the fuck up. God damn. That attitude left a long fucking time ago. It doesn't work, okay? Keep advocating for your own fucking demise then. Fucking standpoint theory ass motherfuckers. Oh my God.
We getting off that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to when you say you are an independent transactional voter. So if that was the case, you would have been voting for the Democrats. You would, if that's your, if you're saying that, you would have been voting for the Democrats. You would, if you believe that, you would, and you actually are a voter, you would have been voting for the Democrats. 5:30. How are black people losing their voting rights? Were you not paying attention before? Like, I think you must have missed it. When the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act, they eliminated black congressional districts. To the point where now, even if black people do come out and vote, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A lot of black people in the South. Matter of fact, let's play that clip from Vaush. Since you asked, let's let Vaush explain about how he's celebrating how black people lost. Let's watch that clip. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's get to that. Let's get to this. Let's get to that right now. Let me see. Where's that channel? Let's go. Let's go. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, y'all can see it, right? So let's play this.
From the Democrats as well, but they need to commit to that. We could what are we going for here? We're going for like 0 Republican districts in California. The democracy is basically done at this point. Democracy is basically done. Oh, you're right though. There is one good side to this. This finally might put a nail in the coffin of the much hated Congressional Black Caucus. Those disgusting dogs of Israel, those moderate, basically Republican Democrats that have been on like the furthest right you can be while being a Democrat. These 80-year-olds who will not leave their fucking seat and only stay in because they represent a congressionally like ordained district of black voters. Finally, we can be rid of them. So that's nice, I guess. Not the strongest Democrats, that's for sure. Most racist part of the Democratic Party too. And they're all like 90. We just lost one of them and he was crazy. What if Republicans dummy-mander? I mean, they probably will. I don't know. Will gerrymander?
All right, I don't think I need to let that clip play again. Did that answer your question? Let me see something. You said you voted for the Democrats except Kamala Harris. Then you did an anti-black thing. That's anti-black. That's anti-black. Because what does it matter if you voted for all those other Democrats if Kamala loses and Trump gets in office? What does it matter? What does it matter? One, I didn't say turn a blind eye to them because what would have been best for the Palestinians if Kamala Harris winning? That was what would have been best for them. Let's get that out the way. Kamala Harris winning would have been the best thing to happen for the Palestinians. That would have been the best thing. Even Benjamin Netanyahu knew that. That's why he was actively working to try to help Trump win the election. That's why he kept breaking the ceasefires, knowing that people would blame the Democrats for it to help Trump win. Also, again, what you preaching is what I call second wave black internationalism. Over here, we do third wave black internationalism. Again, that's why I got to start doing the BYB episodes again. We do third wave black internationalism. We will not set ourselves on fire to keep nobody else warm. The idea that we're going to sacrifice ourselves and let a racist bigot like Trump win because we trying to help the Palestinians is out. That's out. We're not doing that no more. That's done. We're not sacrificing ourselves to try to help other people, especially when our sacrifice is not even going to help them. It's going to even hurt them even more. That's what makes this even dumber. That's what makes this even dumber. Let's say, for example, black people sacrificing themselves by letting Trump win would actually have helped the Palestinians. I wouldn't co-sign that. But I even more wouldn't co-sign it knowing that it doesn't help them. It actually hurts them. Because you'll be hearing about how the West Bank is completely just gone. You'll be hearing about that in probably the next year or two. Never. Yes, again, BYB, we not doing that. Imagine I'm going to be like, all right, especially for some racist Palestinians that wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. Like, I don't get it. Y'all got to stop that. I got to stop that. But yeah, let's get back to this. Because I don't even know if we're going to even get a chance to do the whole video. But yeah, let's get back to it. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all supporting the channel any way y'all can. Exactly, Vegeta. Palestinians are getting killed regardless. Like why we gotta die? Why people all around the hundreds of thousands of people around the world gotta die? Because Palestinians are getting killed like they've been doing. We gotta lose 160 years worth of struggle going up in smoke.
Like the insincerity of these candidates has done huge damage to the faith of the voters. Why would anyone get excited? Like Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom every day. I'm in favor of a billionaire's tax. I'm against a billionaire's tax. I hate the Republicans. Oh, let me suck your dick, Charlie Kirk. Why would anyone? The constant insincerity, the consultant brained, like I refuse to support a position unless it's 51% favorable, except for with Gaza where you have to wait for like 80%. Like it's not defensible. We need candidates who actually believe in things. The funny thing is that Joe Biden is an example of this. Joe Biden believed in Zionism. He was consistent about that before October 7th, too. Joe Biden has always been a pretty straight shooter. His positions over the course of his very long political career have been pretty consistent. If you look at him back in the 1980s and the 1990s and 2000s and 2010s and 2020s, you actually get a pretty accurate read of what he believes. Do I agree with all of it? No, but at least he believed in it. People like...
You are right. I do support justice. That's why I supported Kamala Harris. Saying that trying to make Kamala Harris lose for something she didn't even do because you want to punish the Democratic Party, that's not justice. And again, black people sacrificing themselves and dying is not justice. Because again, explain to me how black people sacrificing 160 years worth of progress was going to help the Palestinians. Explain to me how black people sacrificing themselves was going to further the cause of justice. It wouldn't. Because again, like I said, I was on the side of justice. I was on the side that was going to do the least amount of harm. See, if you can't stop the harm, you got to go for harm reduction. So let's say, for example, Kamala Harris was going to try to do the same thing. She wasn't going to do it to the extent that Joe Biden was doing it. And she damn sure wasn't going to do what Trump was planning to do, what he was getting paid to do. So I'm about harm reduction. I tell you that more people will be alive today if Kamala Harris had been elected president. That's an immutable fact. Immutable. Exactly, Percy. That's exactly what I was explaining. How many people dead, especially in Africa, because U.S. aid has been cut off? This is something people were saying before when people was talking about, oh, we not voting for Kamala because of Palestine. What about everybody else? What about everybody else? More people have died now because of USA being cut off than have died in throughout the whole October 7th situation. And it's not even over yet. Trump gonna be president for another 2 years, another year and a half. How many people died and have died already because of energy shortages? Because Trump war with Iran right now. How many people have died? How many people have died in Iran that wouldn't be dead? Like how many? How many people dying? Innocent people, fishermen being blown up in the Caribbean right now because they claim that they drug traffickers. How many? We don't even know the full extent of that. And I'm pretty sure it's still going on. Again, harm reduction. Those countries have already been destabilized. Let's be clear. They all colonialism already is in large in the charge. It's already in full effect. They already been destabilized. They already got taken over. Us not supporting Kamala Harris, saying we don't care about U.S. aid, and how many people are dying? How many people are dying? Again, it's about harm reduction. Harm reduction. Harm reduction. Shout out to the visionary for coming through with another 199. Exactly. None of that happens.
Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. I mean, honestly, most Democrats. I think Joe Biden was actually the unique one here. I think Obama also does this too, with a constant pivoting in favor of like consultant positions, you know, like support for gay marriage, which Obama personally supported for many years before he publicly supported it. I just don't respect this. And I think the Democratic Party is tired of it. I think one of the reasons why Trump is so popular with Republicans is because in spite of his profound fucking retardation, he does come across as somebody who just says what's on his mind,
and he loves to use the R slur. Like, why you need to say that for? But yeah, let's keep it going.
In fairness, he does. It's just that his brain is soup and he believes whatever he's told. So, you know, it's not really like it's not a very reliable indicator as to what's true, but it does tell you what's going on in his head. He's a very, you know, transparent politician in that respect, at least. She couldn't even say Zoran's name 8 months ago. Yeah.
What do you think of him and his candidacy? And what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee and he should be supported. Do
you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race. Sure.
And now she reaches out. And now you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. I support the Democrat. Yeah. Exact same thing Schumer says to Plattner. Yeah, of course. It's the same. Yeah, they don't believe in anything. She did this with Trump too. When she was VP, she refused to say Trump's name. I mean, I think it speaks to like a very consultant brain like mentality to begin with. The idea that you're never authentic, you're never sincere. The people all agree. We all agree that Kamala Harris radiates insincerity, right? Every time she's asked a question on anything, she gives the same like, you know, Stepford Wives plastic grin. Everything about her comes across as really insincere, and it's reinforced by the fact that her policy positions keep changing too. We want real fighters who really believe things. People who are a little kooky, you know? That's how politics used to be. That's how all politics was for all time, at least for as long as we've been.
Who are the little kooky people? Like Graham Plattner? Like Fetterman? Like these bozos?
Doing politics, basically. This modern incarnation of a mainstream Democrat, which is this like plastic, thinly veiled corporate figurehead who just repeats what they're told to say by their consultants and staffers, that is a very, very, very modern thing. That's just not how politics has worked historically. Last week in Detroit, Harris met with a co-founder of the Uncommitted movement, talked with James Zogby, longtime member of the Democratic National Committee who's advocated for Palestinian rights. Is this one of those Axios articles we can trust? The information, yes. Yeah, yes. all media lies. It's about the literacy to determine what they're lying about. Barack Ravid's 700th "Everyone's Fed Up with Netanyahu" post is not comparable to like a quick read Access journalist piece on how Kamala Harris is making moves in the background. You know, the cultural shift is happening, but so slowly. The cultural shift we need is away from insincerity and towards sincerity, not like fake, like pro-Zionism into fake anti-Zionism. Do you think our rhetoric will insincerely change? Yeah, of course. Every every serious Democratic candidate in 2028 will oppose Netanyahu, if he's even around by then. The question is, how many of them will actually believe it? Kamala Harris never can, neither can Gavin Newsom. We know where they stand. Did you see this? DeGette telling a Democratic Party delegate not to vote for her if the only issue you care about is Palestine. No. It's a great reminder of how little establishment Democrats actually care about democracy. DeGette, the woman who just got replaced, the 30-year incumbent who just got replaced by Milat Kiros. Sorry, I mixed up the consonants there. Milat Kiros told a Democratic Party delegate not to vote for her if the only issue you care about is Palestine. Which, like, okay. And then she lost by 10 points.
You are fundamentally not going to agree with me on this because you think that Palestinians deserve to live. Thank you very much. No, ma'am, that's not it.
Oh, she mad. She mad.
Hi.
Yes, I did record it. Thank you.
Okay. So here I am. Hi, Diana. I'm Nicole Shea. Hi, Nicole. I am a delegate in Denver. I'm in 5 points. Okay. Great. Like you, I really consider myself.
She was about to throw hands for Israel. Look at how anxiously afterwards she was like, did you catch that? Did you catch me obviously getting like really upset there? What an embarrassment for a 30-year incumbent. 30 years.
Again, this is nonsense. She said the right thing. If you own, because again, these people don't really even care about Palestine. Imagine this. Imagine trying to go against a Democratic. Matter of fact, I'm so upset because they would never even do this if black people. They won't do this for black people in America. They would never stand this type of 10 toes down for black people in America, nor would they tolerate black people in America doing what Palestinians do to fight against their oppression. If you had a group of black people running around just killing white people because of all the stuff black people have dealt with in this country for 500 years, a half a millennia, they would be the first people crying and complaining and condemning it. They would be the first ones. Because if you ask any of these bozos, why can't, if it's okay to Palestinians to do what they're doing and you support them 10 toes down, will you support me 10 toes down running around like a place like Mississippi, Alabama, and just getting active? Would you support that? They would be like, no. And they'll be like, well, things aren't that bad as they used to be. Who are you to determine what's that bad? For me. This is what I'm talking about. Nonsense. They don't even care about Palestine like that. Like they don't even care about it. Because if you cared, you wouldn't have voted the way you voted. Can't win if you can't. Like I said, if it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, you should not listen to them.
Years in this gig and you still take the bait like that? Jesus Christ.
I consider myself like women's rights activist. I appreciate the work you've done.
It's about like you guys give me shit for getting baited by chat. I've been doing live streaming for 7 years. She's been in Congress for 30 years and she acts like that in a public setting during a fucking campaign event. It's embarrassing. It's really fucking embarrassing.
Just wondering, why do you keep sending money for bombs that Israel is sending to Palestine? So actually most people think that Israel should be able to defend itself with the Iron Dome.
Oh, no, she goes to the consultant position, general favorability, which she's lying about, by the way, rather than... Because for one, the person asking the question was asking about offensive weapons, bombs, not just Iron Dome supplies. So she's pivoting here. This is dishonesty. But also, rather than defending her position, she just goes back to well, I'm technically allowed to believe this because the consultants say that I can.
And that's what I'm talking about. But so defending themselves is different than continuing the genocide in Palestine. You're talking about different subjects, and I'm trying to ask you about the Block the Bombs Act.
Okay, I'll tell you about the Block the Bombs Act. I've read the Block the Bombs Act. The Block the Bombs Act is a very poorly written piece of legislation because it's both too narrow and it's too broad.
No, nah, I don't think so. I think it's okay to just not give the genocidal Nazi party run country weapons.
I think you introduced amendments for it.
No specific criticisms because she probably hasn't even read it.
Wait, time out. I just saw something. So you attacking him. You said you better be Caribbean with a name like. What are you talking about? Nonsense. See, again, I knew it. See, I'm not. That's how smart I am. I already knew you was here arguing in bad faith. Let me boom you real quick. Let me get you up out of here. I already knew you was out here arguing in bad faith. Should I put him on timeout or just block him altogether? Matter of fact, I'm just putting you on timeout because again, yeah, I'm getting you out of here right now because I'm gonna go look back through that whole conversation a little bit later if I can. Dag, I just put you on timeout. But yeah, nonsense. I already knew. Let me put that comment. Let me see if I can put that comment back up. Insane. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. They don't that's what I'm saying. They don't actually care about black people. I'm happy you, again, because I wasn't watching the comments. I just caught that one. I'm happy Percy and y'all was arguing with this bozo because, again, he was purposely misunderstanding everything I was saying. And he was proving that he wasn't as black as he said he was. He outed himself. He couldn't take the heat because he was being exposed for being a bozo. And then now he started doing the FBA xenophobia stuff. You lose in the debate. You supposed to be super duper black, but somehow you supporting Trump and you co-signing black people sacrificing themselves for Palestinians, and not only sacrificing themselves for Palestinians, it's not even going to make their life better. Again, it'd be one thing if we could sacrifice ourselves and make their life better. I'm not co-signing that, but let's say, for example, that was the case. That's not even the case. That's not even the case. Yes, exactly. That's not even the case. That's not even the case. What person who's supposed to be super duper pro-black, super duper pan-Africanist don't care about Sudan? What person? Because again, I saw that person's comment and I forgot to address it when they was defending Hassan. Because y'all heard that clip I put about Hassan. Like, yeah, Hassan says stupid stuff sometimes, but he's cool. What? But yeah, let's get back to this.
I can't introduce amendments because it hasn't been brought up.
Why are you sending money to Israel to commit a genocide in Palestine?
If the only issue that you care about is this issue, then you should not vote for it.
Again, this should just be completely disqualifying. I don't know. It's insane to me. Why would you ever talk like this? We would all recognize how insane this is if a Republican said this about affordability. If a Republican, and they have done this in fairness, but we all recognize how bad it is when they do it. If a Republican's like, listen, if all you care about.
No, that's not true. Because again, you didn't say that about Hassan. Because if I go to your chat or Hassan chat and say, hey, what about black people? Y'all be like, well, if us all you care about, you're not really trying to make the world a better place. You're not, you don't belong here. This is not where you belong. Nonsense. She said the right thing. And these people don't even care about Palestine. They don't.
Out as being able to pay medical bills, don't vote for me. Okay, I'm here for oil. Like, when we see Republicans do that, we all recognize that it's a symptom of an ailing and corrupt party. Why do we not like this? It's just anti-democracy.
Okay, that's what I would say to you.
That's good to know.
And then she lost by 10 points.
Any more money for offensive weapons to Israel, period. When we did the
Weapons are offensive, no matter
I
what kind
understand
they
you
are.
say that.
I'm a constituent asking a very direct question to you, and you're not answering it. If you think that you are, you don't understand what your constituents really want and need.
What I don't appreciate is when somebody
You can really tell that she hasn't faced a primary challenger in a while because she and the Democratic apparatus around her in Colorado has refused to to challenge her in a primary. You can really tell she's gotten sitting pretty on her laurels. This is what happens. This is what happens. You get comfortable. This is not how politicians should feel. Every year that you are a elected representative in Congress should feel like 8 years have passed. The process of being a politician should erode your body and your health. You need to be stressed 24/7. This should not be a comfortable job. You are one of the most powerful people in the world. You need to be a militant activist fighting day by day by day to advance the interests of your constituents. But these people...
How is she advancing the interest of her constituents by fighting for Palestinians, by turning on America's only ally in the region? How is that advancing the interest of her constituents? That's what's so funny. You lefties are against are the most un-American group of people in the country. Because look what's happening to America right now. Because Trump is in office. Something that everybody with two brain cells to rub together knew would have happened. And now compare that to what would have happened if Kamala Harris had won the election. You know life would be better for not only Americans, but people all around the world. You're literally sacrificing Americans. You have sacrificed Americans. There are Americans who are dead right now who would be alive had Trump not become president. And you're still talking about Palestine. There are Americans right now who are losing their house, can't afford to feed their family, all kind of bad things that are occurring right now because Trump is president. But you're still talking about Palestinians that you don't actually care about because they're in a worse position too because Trump has won. The Middle East as a whole is in a worse position because Trump has won. The world is in a worse position because Trump has won. A worse position. But you still, here you go again. Palestine. Palestine. That's what the constituents really care about. Palestine.
Just, sorry, my tummy hurts. They just don't care. They just get lazy and complacent.
States.
I don't like genocide enablers. That's what I don't like. I think that's a little bit worse than anything that you could perceive as rude for your constituents confronting you over not representing our values.
Sir, I don't appreciate when people mischaracterize things. I'm happy to explain my position.
So is your character that you do not care about Palestinian children?
No, I do care about Palestinian.
So then why do you...
What about American children who are now currently suffering because of what you did? See, this is the game. They are so easy and so ready to sacrifice other people. Mind you, they're not being hurt by this because the people who are pushing this lefty nonsense are all well-off white liberal lefties. All of them. They all white and well-off. All this pain that I'm talking about is not affecting them in their day-to-day life. None of it. And again, when would you ever see these bozos take this type of stance for black people? Where they'll be like, we ready to wreck the whole world because we got to stand for black people. Would you have done this too? Because again, America is allied with the UAE. The UAE is directly responsible and backing the genocide in Sudan. Would you have taken this stance right now to save Sudan? No, they wouldn't have. If you asked one of them to do all this stuff that they're doing right now to save Sudan, they wouldn't do it. An actual genocide, by the way. An actual genocide. Y'all calling what happened in Gaza a genocide. What's happening in Sudan is actually a genocide. Actually a genocide being done by one of the United States' top allies in the region. Would you ever press her about supporting weapon sales to the UAE? The UAE gets most of its weapons from America. The UAE can do what it does because of America. Are you asking anybody to sanction the UAE? Disgusting. Disgusting. Like, and people say this like this makes sense. An actual genocide is going on in Sudan right now, being sponsored by America's top ally. You never hear them talk about it. You never see them going hard about it. And again, an actual genocide. What did the people in Sudan do to justify the response that they're getting? Remember, no matter how bad you think the Palestinians got it, Hamas did October 7th. They did it. And again, this type of justification would never make this type of justification for black people. They would never make this type of justification for black people nowhere in the world. If black people had rose up and killed all the white people in South Africa for what they did to them for centuries, these would have been the same people condemning the black people for doing it, saying it's wrong. I watched Vaush condemn the EFF. I watched him condemn Julius Malema. Wait, tell me, somebody asked me a question. What I was saying about it not being a genocide is this: it's a war going on. They're bombing the people they're fighting are in the civilians, and you got to kill them. That's it. That's it. It's just like if you pay attention, this is the same thing in World War II. How many civilians got killed in World War II? Because we had to go after the enemy. We had to go after the industrial base. That means killing civilians. It is what it is. Again, this is a war. This is not like they just popped up out of nowhere and just said, let's bomb all the Palestinians and kill them. It's not a war. It's not a war based on religion. There's one group attacking another group for no reason, trying to wipe them out. That's a genocide. And they purposely going after civilian targets. That's a genocide. There's no military value to this. That's a genocide. Again, that what we seeing right now, what we saw with October 7th, that is a war. Because if I ask you right now, would Israel have done all of that if had Hamas not did October 7th? The answer is no. The answer is no. But if I ask you, would Sudan have happened regardless of any type of quote unquote religious war? The answer is yes, because they did it already. Remember, why did South Sudan become a country? Because they was trying to genocide them. The Jambaweeds and all of that. Like, you can't make that up.
You keep approving more arms to go to Israel. So we wouldn't be fighting.
You can really tell she hasn't had to do a debate like against a progressive challenger in a while. Because again, like, they think rhetoric can overwhelm fact. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you say you don't want Palestinian children to die. If you oppose the Block the Bombs Act, you want Palestinian children to die. I'm sorry. Like, you can't talk your way out of it. I'm sorry. It's really straightforward. There's no.
So if you oppose Kamala Harris, that means you wanted Africans to die. There's no other way around it. You knew U.S. AD was going to get cut off, and it did, and then people died. And people are still dying, and people are going to die. You knew it was a possibility that Trump was going to go to war with Iran, which led to what? Energy prices spiking all around the world. Global crisis. People are dying. That means that's all on the lefties. All of this is on the white lefties. All this death and destruction on the white lefties.
Like, ambiguity here. It's really, really, really straightforward.
Iran right now, if we had done an arms embargo a year ago, 2 years ago, We've let them run rogue because of representatives like you taking AIPAC money.
Did take one AIPAC donation before the October 6th.
By the way, you know what Mamdani did that these candidates won't do because they're hacks and they know they can't defend their positions? Hold town hall style conversations with dissenting voters to hear them out. Mamdani did this a lot, both before and after the election, where Mamdani would the October 6th thing, Jesus, where Mamdani would like talk to people who disagree with them and hear out their concerns. Can you imagine a candidate like this sitting down, like in a proper sit down, not like here's a quick convo in a coffee shop, we're trying to get like a clip of you, but like a 30-minute sit down where she explained in detail.
One, again, it's not a religious one. It's just a genocide. And even if it was a conflict over religion, that still makes it a genocide. That doesn't make it not a genocide. Do you think what the Nazis was doing on the Eastern Front wasn't a genocide? Because there was a conflict going on based off ideology? Just because there's a war, mind you, the side that's doing the genocide is the one who started the war, by the way. So they could do a genocide. Just like the Nazis started the war with the Soviet Union so they could do a genocide. That's the difference. Israel did not start bombing Palestine on October 7th or October 6th, and then they responded on October 7th. That's not what happened.
Detail her positions to a person who opposed her. They could never do it because they know there is no defense. They know they would lose. They are completely uninterested in it. But people like Milat Kiros are more than happy to go on the news and do 30-minute sit-downs where they respond to every single criticism levied against them, even phrased antagonistically. We believe in democracy. They don't. They are the cancer rotting this party, making us weak. We are the solution.
And then I refused any more PAC money. I have not taken
so
any
you
PAC
still
money.
Vote
no,
to approve funds for Israel and they're not even paying you? That's kind of crazy.
And also, a lot of this anti-Israel stuff is really just anti-Semitism. Let's be clear. They don't care about Palestinians, just like Tucker Carlson. You think Tucker Carlson care about Palestinians? They're just using Palestinians as a justification to be anti-Semitic. It's fake. It's fake.
To keep track of who gives you money after 30 years in office, do you think that maybe we should have people that have more stake in the future than you do representing us and making decisions for our future?
Nobody can buy my vote.
Also, just general, like, terrible media skills on her part. Like, she's just fundamentally very, very bad at dealing with this kind of like mildly heated, disagreement, this oppositional rhetoric. She's just bad at.
One mighty and strong. You are literally sitting here trying to argue that the Sudan conflict is not a genocide, but you saying again, that's not a genocide, but what happened in Gaza is a genocide? How are you doing this? Of course, Benjamin Netanyahu. And again, they know this. That's why, again, these white lefties are the enemy. They know Benjamin Netanyahu was prolonging the war for two reasons: to help Trump win and to keep himself out of jail.
That she's not good at it.
Care who that is.
But that's your job as a politician.
I don't care who that is.
I think it's been happening for over 30 years.
I'm glad you think that, but it's incorrect.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sunrise Movement. I really just really congratulate you for doing a good job reminding us how anti-democratic these people are. Ken Klippenstein got blocked by DeGette on Twitter for asking who she is. That's fucking funny. That's so fucking funny. Who are you? DeGette's blocked you. Like J.K. Rowling shit. You're a 30-year incumbent, but your job is so easy you have time to get personally mad on Twitter. Fucking embarrassing. Like you're just like angrily blocking people in the replies. Has she even conceded yet? Genuine question.
I want to congratulate Maylot Kiros for her victory last night, and I want to wish her
Okay,
all
there she's conceded.
the best in her future. I also want to thank Wanda James for her years of involvement and service to this community. Thanks to all my friends and supporters who have lifted me up in all of my years in public service. And thanks to my intrepid campaign staff who fought until the bitter end to get our message out. Job number one is standing up to Donald Trump and protecting our democracy. And along with thousands of constituents, I want to thank all of the staff from my congressional office.
She didn't even attend her campaign event last night. Shit was over at 9 p.m. That's so fucking funny. Bitter fucking losers, the lot of them. Terrible, terrible people.
Both Denver and DC, for consistently serving the residents of the 1st Congressional District over the years with commitment and compassion.
Interviewed Nicole Shea, the woman talking to get more in depth about the.
So I see the problem here. One mighty and strong. You think a genocide can only be committed against a race, not a religion. That is not true. You can genocide a group of people because of their genocide is about trying to wipe out a group of people. It could be based on tribe. It could be based on ethnicity. It could be based on race. It could be based on language. It could be based on culture. It could be based on religion. It doesn't have to be based on race. Just because it's not about race doesn't mean it's not a genocide. And that genocide is about race because the people doing the genocide think they Arabs. They think that they Arabs, and they think the people that they killing are black. If you go to any of those Jamboree types and the people out here doing the genocide, what is it? What they call the Rapid Reaction Force or whatever? They all think that they Arabs. They all think that they Arabs, and they think that the people that they killing are Africans. A lot of the people that they killing are Muslims, but they don't even care because they think that, well, they African, so I don't care. I think that's the confusion we have here. Those people think that they Arabs. Like that's one of the real questions, quote unquote questions, of Pan-Africanism. I heard some. I said that this is a question that is going to have to be addressed. But I'm coming down on the side that yes, they can be a part. But people ask this question: can Black Muslims, as in the people in Africa who think that they Arabs but don't think that they Africans, can they be a part of some type of Pan-Africanist movement? Because they think that they Arabs. A lot of the problems you see in the wars you see in Africa right now are people who think that they Arabs. What is it? The Fulani in Nigeria. They think that they Arabs. A lot of the people committing all these problems where you see in Tanzania, Mozambique, and all that other stuff, they think that they Arabs. Sudan, they think that they Arabs. They all think that they Arabs. They all think that they Arabs.
Incident, my YouTube channel. You're self-promoting, but like for something that's relevant, that's crazy. I've never seen a self-promo post that that wasn't like a waste.
Yeah, but I'm about to get off this because I gotta go. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody who came through. Yeah, we're gonna have I'm pretty much hopefully I could stream tomorrow. If I can't Monday, we definitely gonna have to do a real big breakdown on this. Like again, that's gonna be one of the Mondays. Again, I'll even drop the link for people to come up so they could talk. Yeah, we're gonna have to really really talk about this. Exactly, Lee D. Clinton. Shout out to you for the 10. Yes, they do think that they white. See, that's a problem. That's a problem. We're trying to unite with any group that don't really think that they black. That's a problem. That's a problem. But shout out to you. Yeah. Yeah, I think I gotta do it for the night. I gotta do it for the night. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to everybody who supported the stream. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Family, before you get out of here, make sure you know you can go subscribe to my other channels. Donate to me if you can. PayPal, Cash App, super thanks. All that other stuff. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Much appreciated. I'm going to see if I could even pin this comment. Matter of fact, I can't even pin the comment. Shout out to the Visionary for setting it off with the $1.99. Shout out to Justin March, my first moderator, for coming through and gifting 20 memberships. Family, if Justin March gifted you a membership, please keep it going. Please keep it going. Thank him and keep it going. You could raise it, you could lower it, but keep it going. Shout out to the Visionary again for coming through with another $1.99. Shout out to the Visionary again for coming through with another $1.99. Shout out to the Visionary again for coming through with another $1.99. Shout out to a pimp named Slickback for coming through with a $5. Shout out to the Visionary again for coming through with another $1.99. Shout out to Konguru for coming through with $4.99. Shout out to the Visionary again for coming through with another $1.99. Shout out to the Visionary again for coming through with another $1.99. Shout out to Lee D. Clinton for coming through with a 10. Shout out to Barker for coming through with some jewels. There you go. Shout out to Tina for coming through with some jewels too. Remember, family, if you donate jewels, make sure you drop a comment letting me know so I could ping, so I could give you your proper shout out. Shout out to Starbright for dropping some jewels. I don't have your name, but I can't put it right here. So shout out to you for dropping some jewels. Shout out to everybody who was rocking with me this whole time. Shout out to everybody who dropped fire emojis. You already know, red, black, and green, BYB. Shout out to everybody who dropped some fire emojis. Shout out to everybody who dropped a comment. Shout out to everybody who gave me a like. Shout out to everybody who gave me a share, give me hype points, all that, who just watched the stream, hit that reaction heart. Thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, V David. You already know. Shout out to you too, the Hood Mistress. Shout out to you. Much appreciated. Thank you for again sending me that email. Thank you again, Justin March, for the fire emojis. Thank you, Percy, for coming through. Much appreciated. I'm happy that you participated the way you did because you know you helped expose an undercover FBA or a possible undercover FBA or somebody who got FBA sympathies. Because it's like he couldn't defend his position, so he immediately went to xenophobia. Can't make that up. Oh, shout out to 530 D Money for coming through with a gift. Much appreciated. Much appreciated for coming through with that gift. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, here he is right here. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you. Much appreciated. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns any day of the week. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it now. Again, thank you again, Lee D. Clinton, for coming through at the end. Also, let me see something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shout out to the Visionary. You donated 7 times. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you for all the support you showed. Thank you for all the support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation. Much yes. What? Who's hiding in their beautiful lineage? What are you talking about? Again, much appreciated. Shout out to everybody. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it now. Thank you. And on that note, family, you already know. Peace. Oh, he was mocking them? Well, yeah, forget FBA. Forget FBA. Mock them. Make sure you do mock them. These guys are bozos. But again, thanks everybody for coming through tonight. Yeah, I got my work cut out for me on Monday. I can see that now. And yeah, shout out to you too, AZ, for coming through. And on that note, family, peace.